Brilliance Audio presents Reaching Beyond Boundaries, a Navy SEAL's Guide to Achieving Everything You've Ever Imagined, by Don Mann and Kraig Becker, performed by Don Mann. High on a mountaintop in the Himalayas, a lone climber slowly scrambles up a steep slope. Strong winds buffet his body as he struggles to stand upright, snow swirling around him, obscuring his vision. His legs burn with exertion, and his lungs struggle to provide the oxygen he needs in the increasingly thinning air. For a moment he stops as a voice inside his head tells him this would all be a lot easier if he just turned around and headed back down. He allows himself the briefest of moments to consider that possibility. Below him is warmth and sunshine, a comfortable tent, and the camaraderie of friends and family. Above is only pain and suffering. He sighs deeply, drawing in even more oxygen before looking over his shoulder at the way he has come. Ultimately, he turns to continue upward. He hasn't finished what he has come here to do just yet. He hasn't reached the summit. Somewhere on a desolate, sandy plateau in Afghanistan, a soldier ducks for cover behind an armored vehicle. A dozen rounds whiz past overhead as chaos breaks out all around him. He can see the other members of his squad scrambling for safety as bullets rain down from multiple directions. He takes a fraction of a second to collect himself, allowing his breathing and heart rate to stabilize. Adrenaline courses through his veins, and yet he remains calm. This is what we've trained for, he tells himself, glancing around to take stock of the situation and assess where his skills and experience are needed most. Without hesitation, he begins scanning the area for signs of the enemy, conveying vital information to his fellow soldiers as a firefight escalates around him. Even in this life-or-death situation, he is calm and collected. On a lonely trail in the Alps, a runner pushes on through the night. She's 16 hours and 70 miles into one of the longest and most difficult endurance events in the world. The route ahead is illuminated only by the light from a headlamp, and it has been a long time since she has seen another living soul. Exhausted, hungry, and in pain, she presses forward, long after most other human beings would have stopped. The steepest and hardest part of the race is yet to come, but she refuses to give up now, as there are many miles to go before she reaches the finish line. These grueling scenarios may sound like something out of a work of fiction, but they are the kind of real-life challenges that men and women undertake all the time. Some choose to push themselves to their absolute physical and mental limits, while others have intense, life-altering situations thrust upon them unexpectedly. But knowing how to embrace those moments, compartmentalize the suffering, and stay focused on achieving your objectives can be the difference between success and failure, and in some cases, life and death. I've spent the last 40 years of my life vigorously preparing my mind, body, and soul to take on some of the most intense challenges imaginable. I've gone through arduous training so that I can defend my country against lethal threats from around the globe. I've conducted missions in places like Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, Yemen, El Salvador, Bolivia, Korea, Panama, and Colombia, often in conditions that were brutally demanding both physically and mentally. To my SEAL teammates, I am known as Warrant Officer Manslaughter, Sweet Satan, Don Maniac, and Dr. Death, all nicknames that I wear like a badge of honor, having served multiple tours of duty with SEAL Team 1, 2, and 6 throughout my career. My story starts in Methuen, Massachusetts, where I grew up as a skinny kid from the wrong side of the tracks. As a teenager, I was a hellraiser with no interest in school or organized sports of any kind. Like most of my friends, I was on a one-way path to becoming a criminal or drug addict. It was then that I realized that if I didn't find some purpose in my life, I'd end up in prison or dead. A number of my tough guy friends, even one of my girlfriends, had preceded me to an early grave. I was constantly getting into fights and running into trouble with the law. Needless to say, the prospects for my future weren't particularly bright. To make matters worse, I was a terrible student. For me, school was nothing more than a place to hang out and have a good time. Some years I never even bothered to study at all. When our textbooks were issued on the first day of class, I'd stash them in my locker and wouldn't look at them again until the last day of school when they needed to be returned. Once, as the end of the school year drew near, a teacher asked for her textbooks back, and I remember telling her, "I'm sure they're in good condition, but they're in my locker, and I don't remember where my locker is."